Okay, let me get it up on the other screen. So we are live now. Let's make sure people can see us.
Okay.
The usual shenanigans.
I know,
Where
right?
is it? And this will give a chance for some people to join the live, those that are already able to see. All right, public setting. There we go. Good stuff. All right, so we are officially live now. It's on all profiles, so we shouldn't have any hiccups as far as that is concerned. So thank you so much for joining Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Tawana?
I'm doing well. I'm choosing to be well. By grace, we are healthy. We are well. And so, balancing it out and you being a part of this conversation is good timing. And I'm sure it's going to be like some gems dropped, some awakening moments for people to take some intentional action. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Get that.
I'm looking forward to that. So those of you who are joining Transcend, whether you're watching it for the first time and or you have returned to join us for another candid conversation, we are here to talk to you about overcoming life disappointments. That's the theme of Transcend, right? Our topic for today is work in to work out. And so Khadijah is going to share some absolutely gold nuggets. I want you to scoop them all up, filter them in your soul, revisit them as frequently as necessary so that you can glow up, so that you can thrive and not just survive. And we are just everyday people making a difference by the choices, right? By the choices that we make, by the lives that we choose to lead and live. And we want you to be encouraged, knowing you can do the same, not the same thing, but you can do it your way and do it with ease. Okay. So, Kadisha, let us know who you are. Tell us where you're from. Any goodness, any nuggets that you wish to share.
Absolutely. I am Kadisha Beam, and I am the creative visionary and founder of Acoma Heart Bloom Wellness. I am a writer, a mommy, just a creative being, and a champion of self-love, definitely as of recently. So this conversation is so pivotal because holistic wellness is definitely something that can take you down that road to self-love and self-care. So
Yes,
yeah, and I'm from
holistic
Brooklyn.
wellness. Yes.
From Brooklyn, live in Atlanta.
Right in the house. Sorry, I got choked up on something right there. So you see me, I'm trying not to
Take your
bring my
time.
lungs up. I don't know what, maybe I ate too fast right before the
Where's your
live.
water at?
I have it right here. I got my water.
Okay.
All right. So thank you all for joining. If you just joined us, please hashtag live so we can acknowledge you. When you watch on the replay, hashtag replay so we can acknowledge you there. And we are going to get talking. So let's talk about this theme, this lifestyle, right, of holistic wellness. Tell us more about that. What does that mean to you?
To me, I mean, it is exactly what holistic means: mind, body, and spirit. We'll add
Mm-hmm.
soul to that because I believe that our soul has lessons to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And, it is the connection of our spirit that actually helps us to do that.
Yes.
So when we think about holistic wellness, specifically me, when I got into this field of holistic wellness,
Uh-huh.
it was something that really changed my life because I couldn't really understand why I wasn't the type of person to really find comfort in do. And I had to have these moments of just stopping, pausing, and sitting with myself and really thinking about things. Always been a heavy thinker, an ultra sensitive child, using journals and writing just to empty out my feelings. So even when we talk about
Ooh.
holistic healing, writing is definitely a part of that. And this process started with me journaling as early as 8 or 9 years old when my mother gave me my
Wow.
first diary. So I always call that my first yoga holistic wellness experience was given to me by my mother through that
Wow.
and nature outings, through summer camp. So that was a big part of me just being able to acknowledge that there was something more than just the shell that we're in, right?
Yes. Yes, that's deep. Because not everybody has, had such an experience. I mean, there are adults whom I've encountered who still have not ever experienced journaling. And for whatever, whether it's lack of knowledge that that is a thing that can be healing, that can be therapeutic, that can be cleansing, or that they journaled in an earlier point in life and were
Mhm.
violated because of it,
Yep.
right? Their privacy was violated. The words that were found were used against them. And so they stopped writing, or at least they stopped being transparent about how they felt in writing because it was weaponized, right?
Mhm.
So as you move forward and step into your womanhood, because I'm sure there's a huge gap between 8 years old, started
Yeah.
journaling, and where you are now. What did that progress look like for you from the time you were introduced to journaling as a form of holistic wellness and where you are today as a practitioner of holistic wellness? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, definitely. I actually want to speak to something you said about, people being violated, having journaled at an early age. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that actually one of my mother's boyfriends had read my journal. And
Ooh,
what changed things for me was that the way my mother dealt with it was
okay.
really, I mean, she completely went off on him. And
Uh-huh.
she told me to never modify or edit what I write. She
Okay.
told me to keep using that book as a means of expression. So I just want to say a lot of people say that about journaling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
someone's read what I've written.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing is, we have to get used to it being a form of release. And so we're
Mm-hmm.
not writing for the other person. And
Mm-hmm.
it's almost as a way for us to say, when I let this go, I'm letting
Yeah.
it go. And wherever
Yeah.
it goes, no matter
Yeah.
how. But there's a great deal of shame in all of that involved in that too, right? But through the process, I think it's one of those things where you have to kind of weigh out embarrassment versus healing, you know.
Listen, and I know about that.
Yeah, right. Embarrassment because you said something about telling your story, even
Mm-hmm.
and as we
Mm-hmm.
tell our stories, there's a great deal of criticism and opinions that are going to come from that, and this is also a
Yes.
part of our wellness expression. So
Yes.
when we censor our expression, we are actually doing harm to ourselves because we're living more under the guise of what other people want for us versus what we want for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And not to get off topic, but to answer your question, how the writing from 8 or 9 years old transpired until now,
Yes.
it I've always written. I've always used it as a way to just empty out anything that I've been feeling. So there are like countless number of stories, people in books, and I've realized that that's the only thing that's ever really allowed me to feel like I was heard, because
Yeah.
sometimes you can't talk to people, right? And so I think for me, the journaling turned into being open to therapy, holistic therapy, right? And I've
Yes.
been blessed to actually have practitioners who knew both sides. They knew the holistic side and they also knew
Mm-hmm.
traditional medicine. So that helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then in going to yoga teacher training, journaling showed up again because we had to journal the journey. So we
Ooh.
would have writing assignments where we would have to write about each principle and how we implemented each principle of yoga that day and how it
Mm-hmm.
was showing up in our life. So it's been a never ending like self-study journey.
I appreciate that. I think that's a level of awareness that you just brought about today, because I'm sure when you're going into certain practices, there are certain elements that you don't realize are going to be considered, particularly if you didn't know what to ask, you didn't know who to ask, you didn't know what to look for, right? Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And to hear that yoga, I know for me, what comes to mind, of course, is the thought. What comes to mind is the physical. There's a mental, there's a physical component. I don't necessarily think right away about journaling as being a part of the practice. And so I appreciate you sharing that. And it makes the connection even more deeper about why and how you can go into the practice so much more efficiently and effectively when you're working with others. And I've had that personal experience with you several times. And so it's like, it makes sense. Not only does it take a certain kind of grace and a personality to embody it, yet the formalities behind it, that being a part of it, makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I did need to take a step back forward. I'm so excited. I totally tripped over the opening question for the live. And, you know, if you're watching live, please hashtag live. And then when you're watching on the replay, make sure to hashtag replay so we can acknowledge you. We can follow up with you and check in with the comments, the questions that you may have asked even. But when you hear the word transcend, what comes to mind?
I transform.
Mm.
Transform comes to mind for me. Ascension comes to mind for me.
Ooh.
Elevation comes to mind.
Mm.
And, seeing things with new eyes comes to mind.
Wow, that's good. I'm not sure I've had some of those answers. I usually capture them and try to go back and get them because I'm like, everybody brings a different perspective. And like you express, you know, when you're overcoming different things or when certain things happen to you, the lens from which you see it is usually how you respond to it. And so every time someone answers that question, I hear something different. And it's because we are only as human as our experiences. And based on your experiences, the meaning, right, of that stems from there. And I just think that's phenomenal. That's beautiful response to the question. So let's talk about working in to work out, holistic wellness as a lifestyle. When you say work in to work out, tell us what you mean by that.
So when I say work in, I mean like commit to sitting with yourself. Right?
Mm.
Commit to sitting with yourself. I think we're so used to being interviewed by other people and even asking other people questions that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we don't even ask ourselves questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, working in is that thing. It's like I ate a piece of fruit today. How did that
Mm-hmm.
make me feel?
Mm-hmm.
I moved my body today in this way. Was there any kind of sensation, and what could be connected to that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meditation is a way to work in, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
really just sitting still and honoring your breath and scanning your body and allowing
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts to occur without trying to control in that moment. So working in is like it's surrendering. It's surrendering to the fact that, hey, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to go within myself and see how this situation is mirroring a lesson to me.
Mm.
So you're committing to working in through the practice of meditation, through eating right, even
Yes.
eating intuitively, right? So
Right.
really noticing how what you put in your body makes you feel. So
Yeah.
it really is the commitment to doing your self work, not
Yes.
only your work but your self work, right?
And
So
that's what I'm
sometimes
hearing.
yeah, sometimes it's easier for us to like engage in the news, engage in our to-do list, our physical
Mm-hmm.
to-do list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus our inner to-do list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have I prayed today? Have I acknowledged the fact that I've asked for something in prayer, but have I received the answer in my meditation? That's
Right.
one of the most beautiful things my Reiki practitioner told me is that meditation and prayer actually work together, because in prayer you're
Mm-hmm.
asking and meditation you're receiving. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
very reciprocal practice to do together. I think also in working in, you can ask for guidance from a higher power, whatever you believe in, right? So for me,
Mm-hmm.
working in means connecting to God as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is that moment of saying, I've received all this advice and this information from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I've acknowledged what everybody has suggested to me, but now I'm going to take a moment and ask, what is it that I was supposed to receive, and what is the path I need to take?
Yes.
you know, and going through a period of stuckness myself, maybe a couple of months ago, just being
Mm-hmm.
like, why can I not move? And then just coming to the conclusion that, my son said something to me, my 9-year-old, he said, Mommy, you haven't taken a vacation.
Mm.
And, I really thought about it, and I was like, he's right. I need to sit down, and I need to not feel guilty for resting. And I'm somebody that's teaching people to, honor their rest, honor their breath, right? So what I do, the easiest way for me to work in is to pick at least 3 things. For me, it's 3. For some people, it may be 1. If you're a one person, a person that picks one thing, I would say pick the thing you can't live without, and that's your breath. That's your breath. We can go without water for a limited amount of time, right? But how long can you go without breathing, right? You can't go without breathing. So, maybe a couple of seconds if you're holding your breath, right? But in any event, the breathing is the one that can't go. It's got to stay. So, for me, it's really picking and choosing that I'm going to be engaged with my breath,
Yeah.
regardless of what's going on. If I can't go, to a spa, if I can't, go to a yoga class, if I can't get all these external things,
Mm-hmm.
or if I haven't developed a home practice of yoga, I'm going to at least do the breathing part of it. I'm going to sit still and take a moment and feel my breath, right? So that's what working in is. It really is having these practices that are not dependent on the outside world for you to be well. It's developing that self accountability through your breath, through your help creating healthy habits, right? Through acknowledging that you're a spiritual being as well as a human being. And how we do that is, whether you're a religious person or a spiritual person, but really just having rituals and practices that always bring you back to something greater than what's going on in the outside world, and always bring you back to yourself.
That is so rich, and thank you for carrying on the conversation as mom mode kicked in
I
for
saw
a
you in
second.
Mamo. I knew it. I know.
I was like,
I know.
here it is. This is life.
What
This is
we're doing,
life.
yes.
So thank you so much for that. And you addressed a couple of things, and talking about choosing what you can't live without, because sometimes, well, oftentimes people have trouble making decisions, right? Because they're overwhelmed with, well, how do I? And it's just like, where the consultant and the business strategist in me comes out, and it's like, don't start with how. You start with how, you will always be confused. You will always feel
Yes.
overwhelmed. You will always, because you're trying to solve something when you don't even know what you're trying to solve yet, let alone how you're going to get there to the resolution. So being clear, defining what's of importance, defining what's priority, defining what's essential, what's critical, is significant to addressing that need to get that rest, to get that rejuvenation, to get that relief that comes through, right? A holistic living. And it's not an isolated thing either. It's not, just for right now. It's for all facets of life. It's for all relationships. It's for work. It's for personal. It's for, business. It's for whatever you want to apply it to, whatever is happening. You can use this practice, right, to center and bring some peace to your being as you endure, overcome, whatever it is that you're experiencing at the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That is so good. What are some other ways? So I hear you saying, like, choose what's important, choose your breath. What would you say is another way to work that inner being?
So movement is another way. And it's interesting because actually using movement, the unique thing about yoga is that you're using the asana practice, which is the physical practice. You're using the body as a means to go within. So where this is a situation where we see that actually the two can't be without each other, the working in and the working out. So through movement, you're actually able to get messages from your body, right? So, well, let's say mindful movement, okay? Because there's some styles of yoga that are a little more faster paced. For me, I teach slower pace yoga. I teach slower flows. I teach restorative, and I do teach vinyasa flows as well. But I like for people to get a foundation of actually a mindful practice before even going into a fast flow, because otherwise you're essentially doing what you do in the outside world on your yoga mat. You go, 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 right? So the slower practices are going to actually get you to slow down. And as you move your body, you are actually feeling what your muscles are doing. You're feeling what your legs are doing, what your feet are doing, right? You're feeling what your arms are doing. You're noticing if there's any tension, if there's any pain, if there's any little sensations there that may not even be tension or pain, right? And then you're also learning how to measure discomfort versus pain, right? So when we get into traditional exercise, the difference with yoga and exercise, and a lot of people will say, oh, I got to start doing yoga. No, it's not an either or, in my opinion. It's like add yoga to your workout regimen, because you're going to work out more mindfully. So that shoulder injury that you could have gotten because you're just lifting, and you're not connected to your body as you're moving it, can be prevented with a practice of yoga, right? Your posture, all of those different things, you're going to see very differently in a traditional workout if you develop a yoga practice. And another thing is, a lot of times people are holding their breath when they're lifting weights, they're doing high intensity workouts, right? So, and then they're wondering, man, why am I not losing weight? Or why are my muscles stiff? Or why this, why that? It's because you're not doing a complete practice. You're not doing a complete workout. So I would say adding the yoga practice is a complete workout, because your muscles need oxygen, right? And in order to develop and form in a way that's healthy, you need to be breathing, right? So your cells, your organs, everything needs air. And if you're tensing up like this, then that's how you are with all your muscles and everything else going on, right? So we don't want to be looking great with all these muscles, but not able to really move our body and ebb and flow, right?
Limited
So,
range. Yeah.
yeah. So that part of things, and then also being able to, specifically with what's going on in our world, understand when your body is talking to you. Understand that when I have this little cough, that's not a signal for me to be like, oh, that's it. That's a sign for you to stop and start assessing, okay, what have I been eating this week? You know, why am I mucusy? Why am I coughing? Why this? Why that? Right? It's really a moment to sit down. Do I need to rest? Is my body, because sometimes the body develops illness, no matter what kind, because it's giving you a message to stop.
Yeah.
And when you don't listen repeatedly, it magnifies.
Yes.
And it grows into something else, right?
Yes.
So we don't want that. And so this practice is a way to do that. So the physical practice is a means of also working in, because you're going slower, you're connecting breath to movement, you're learning about your body, you're learning right side, left side, all of these different things, right? So you're having a mindfully engaging practice. You are fully present. So that's why I would suggest a practice of yoga.
That is so good. What is one more thing that you would say is important? We talk about working on that inner self so that we can absolutely show up as our best self. You know, when we talk about choosing forms of physical well-being and using yoga as a recommended practice to complete, you know, whatever it is that you're pursuing, nutrition, your physical being, you're like using yoga to help round off and connect those elements. What is something that someone would need to consider? You know, maybe perhaps a common misbelief that people perceive when they decide, oh, I want to live holistically, and I think I want to apply, you know, yoga. I want to try this yogi life. What, right? Because when you don't study it, it's a thing versus like, no, this is a practice. This is a study. It has, I mean, years and years and years of, you know, historical, you know, reflection, proof, data, statistics, healing, you know, components to it. What is something that someone who is considering starting a well-being journey and they're thinking about deploying yoga as a part of it, that they need to keep in mind?
That if you are a person that says, I'm not flexible, you are the one that needs to be doing yoga. Also, not because you consider yourself to be physically inflexible, but because a lot of our the rigidness of the body starts in the mind. So I would definitely say, if you are a person that thinks, oh, I'm not going to be good at it, I can't do it because I'm not flexible, or this or that, the other, just know that there are so many different styles. Yoga is not specific to a religion. It's a lifestyle. Some people do make it a religious practice, but it doesn't have to be that for you. I make it interchangeable with mind, body, and spirit healing, or holistic wellness, whichever words you want to use. But just understanding that it's for everybody. It's for
Mm-hmm.
everybody type, for every age group. There are so many different aspects of the practice, in addition to the physical practice, the self
Mm-hmm.
study, the understanding what your relationships are mirroring to you. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of that is a product of meditating regularly. You
Mm-hmm.
start looking at your experiences with people as a mirror into yourself
Mm-hmm.
versus this blame thing, or this criticizing, or being a victim, or what have you. You start really saying, what is the lesson in this encounter? No matter how happy, no matter how sad or in between it is, what am I here to learn?
Yeah.
And yeah, and you learn not to be so hard on yourself. So I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
practice of really teaching you to be compassionate toward yourself and compassionate toward others, because we are all here doing the best we can with what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to be in certain situations, job, relationships, things like that, for a certain period of time, maybe longer than you expected. But there's a lesson there. That's why you're there. And I think
Yeah.
that's a big thing that came to me in my practice too, right? Is understanding
Yes.
that we can't beat ourselves up for, like, oh my God, that was 9 years of my life. That was 8 years of my life. I stayed at that job, or I stayed with that man or that woman. No, we have to start seeing it as, how did you transcend, right?
Yes.
Based on
Yes.
those situations, what growth came for your life? Did you
Mm-hmm.
end up finding your passion, finding your purpose, all of
Mm-hmm.
these different things, right? That may not have happened if these things weren't reflected to you in your relationships. But it takes really that commitment to, really sitting down with yourself. And so I think the biggest misconception is that also it does need to be done in a community. No, it's definitely a practice that helps you build community within, and then
Yeah.
you go without. Because how can we have
Mm-hmm.
community on the outside and we're not connected to ourselves? That
Mm-hmm.
creates codependency. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I usually say, well, if you had to sum up,
Say it again.
I
Say it
said
again.
I usually ask if you have to, send a final message or a summary of, whatever our topic is, go ahead and do that. I think you have concluded already with a beautiful summary as to why this is important, as to how it applies, as to who can benefit. I mean, excellent job. Excellent job at introducing us to the yoga experience, the holistic wellness experience, and the different perspectives and how it can be considered and how it can be applied to everyday life. Like, that's great. Now, I do want to touch on one thing, um, how you work with others. Give us some examples and the methods, rather, because we are in COVID, and some
Yeah.
people may be wondering, well, how do we do that now? Like, I'd
Yeah.
like to do yoga, but COVID. How can we debunk that myth that they can't start to practice? Because I know that you have ways that you're working with people, not just individuals, with companies, with teams as well, right now. So let us know how that is possible.
Well, I am doing classes virtually, so via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, FaceTime. I prefer Zoom or Microsoft Teams because of the angles. But if you need to do FaceTime, some people are just more comfortable with that. That's an
Mhm.
option as well. But I'm definitely offering virtual sessions. I'm only offering in-person sessions for established students. I only really have one established student that I do allow, and that's because I'm aware of their health history, and they happen to be a mom so just a whole nother situation. And then as far as in-person for companies, definitely mask and smaller groups. I would do sessions. If anybody wanted to do a special event, we would definitely have to have masks on, temperature taken, all of those things.
Mhm.
Primarily, 90% of my offerings are online right now, though. So
Yeah.
you definitely do have access. And I will tell you, a lot of times people stray away from online, but I've had students tell me, girl, I feel like you're in the room with me right now.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
don't debunk, don't stray away from online. We can still definitely connect and have a wonderful practice.
Absolutely. And I'd like to, to be a testament that yes, you can do the full floor yoga practice with Khadijah if you wanted to. Yet if you are, just working, if you are working, right? You are in your professional, you're in your Zoom shirt and you need to get something in midday, yet you don't have the opportunity to go and do the full thing. You can sit right here, right now, just like you're looking at us, and still get it in. She has led me through a number of sessions where I have been able to reset, level set, or just get a set. Get on a set of some kind doing just what you're seeing right now. She's in her yoga gear. I'm in my Zoom shirt. And we're getting to it, and we walk away feeling so much better, understanding that we're coming from a place of gratitude. We're each allowing one another to operate in our areas of expertise. So do not make the excuse that you can't start or that you don't have a resource now to get going. She is here. She's going to make sure that her links are available so that you can contact her easily after the live. You'll be able to go right in the chat, click on the links, and access her information and get your holistic wellness journey started. Don't wait. Right now, today, it can be possible. Zoom, FaceTime, Team Meet, what is it? Office Teams, all that good stuff.
Microsoft Office Teams.
Teams. It doesn't matter what your mode. It's just a matter of your choosing. So if you've been thinking about it and you aren't sure and you don't want to go about it alone, you can start right here, right now with the amazing Kadisha Beam with Heart Bloom Wellness. And she's very active on IG. Check her out on IG as well. She'll drop her links in the comments. And if you have been wanting to ask any questions or you have some questions, make sure you put those there too, or send her a message and ask her some questions if you'd like to do that more privately. She will be more than willing to respond. Anything else you'd like to leave us with?
I think I was able to put my link in there. See, just let me know if it's in there.
I will. I'll shoot you a memo if I don't see it.
Okay.
Oh, one user did ask, how do you get connected with companies? We kind of addressed that a little bit, but if you want to recant on that,
how do I get connected with companies?
Mm-hmm. So if they wanted to, if the company decided they needed you to come in and provide something for their staff, for their employees, what do you recommend? How can they contact you?
You can go directly to my website. The link is in the chat, heartbloomwellness.com. And you can schedule, if you want to talk about what you need first, you can schedule your first 15-minute consult for you and your team. I'll do a demo. Or you can send me an email at info@akomabloom.com. Okay, so that's info@akomabloom.com. You can do it that way, or you can book a team session right on my website as well if you want to bypass the consultation aspect of things, okay?
Yes, thank you so much for asking that question. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to grab her link really quickly and throw that in here too. All right. You have the links. Email address is right here, right? Make sure you contact her, send her a DM. Make sure you do that and get it going personally and or professionally. You can start your holistic wellness journey. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we will see you all next week, right? Next Thursday, same time, same place. We will be on with Ruth Snyder. And Ruth is going to be talking to us about 3 reasons we should aim to write a book to grow our businesses. So for the business owners out there, for whether you're full-time or you're fully employed and you're aspiring for entrepreneurship on the side, ultimately to have the autonomy to do what you want, how you want, when you want to attend this live. Ruth is going to talk to you about telling your story, putting it in writing, right? We talked about that tonight. Write it out, publish it, get some income, grow your business, do all the good things that are you, and share. Tell the world, right? I said last week, your story may not be entirely unique, yet it still needs to be told. Get talking. Thank you so much for joining Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams. See you next week.